Hey friends, it is Jenna, what is up, and welcome back to the Board Game Garden, and welcome to an unboxing and chit chat about my first impressions of this game right here. This is Inventions, Evolution of Ideas, which is from Eagle-gryphon Games. Huge shout out to Eagle-gryphon Games for sending this over for review. I actually did play this at the Gamers Ranch when I went for Adam, which if you guys haven't seen that, I think that'll be the video that goes up before this one, so definitely go and check it out. I will put the link up here or in the description box. But yes, I played this for the first time at the Gamers Ranch, and it was an experience, let me tell you. I've only ever played one other Vital Lacerda game. That was actually technically two. I've played Bot Factory and I've played Kanban EV, which Bot Factory is actually just a smaller, more condensed version that takes a lot of the concepts from Kanban EV. So it's like a smaller version of Kanban. So I've pretty much played two versions of Kanban, which I have really enjoyed. I recently picked up or purchased from a friend Vinos, which I'm excited to play eventually. But yeah, I went from Kanban EV to Inventions, which I feel like they are very different. They do both have very similar vibes because they're from Vital, but I feel like they're very different in the gameplay and the decision space for them. They're both very heavy Euro games, but I feel like Inventions felt very deep. Very deep. So yes, we are going to be unboxing Inventions here, and I'm just going to chat with you guys, my first thoughts on my first play, and just showing you all the components and stuff in here. And then I will most likely, in the near future, be doing a solo live stream of Inventions. My only thing is I know this will be a very long live stream. I've done a few longer live streams. I think my live stream of Now or Never from Red Raven Games, that was like a 4.5 hour stream. And then I also did one recently of Inventions or Inventors of the South Tigris, which we will chat a little bit about that in this video. But I also did a live stream of that, and that was like a 4-hour stream as well. So this would probably be a 4+ hour stream, unless I can, get my stuff together and not get distracted so easily by chat when I'm streaming. So anyways, without further ado, if you guys want to see me unbox Inventions, Evolution of Ideas, then just keep on watching. Give this video a big thumbs up. Also hit the subscribe button down below if you've yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the garden. Again, huge thank you to Eagle-gryphon Games for sending this over, and let's get unboxing, shall we? All right, so let me quickly just get the plastic off. Like I said, I did play this for the first time at the Gamers Ranch. I'm gonna quickly do this while I'm not talking because I know it's going to be loud. There we go. So yes, I was taught this by Jason from Eagle-gryphon Games. Shout out to Jason. He did a great job teaching this, and it was a really great experience. I played this with, who did I play it with? I played it with Danny. Danny Standring. I played it with Tyler from Cavre, and then I played it with JT from Flip Side of Board Games. So I believe those were the 4 that I played it with. Was it those 4? I do believe it was. Yes. But yeah, I actually had this before I went to the Gamers Ranch, and I was really thankful that I was able to actually learn the rules while I was there, so I didn't have to learn this myself. One little fun fact about me is that I hate learning rules. It's probably bad considering I am a board game content creator. I never really classify myself as a reviewer. I'm more so a board game content creator. But yeah, I'm always thankful when I can actually learn a game from somebody else rather than me having to dive into the rule book and learn it, especially big games like this. I'm totally fine with smaller, more medium games, but huge, heavy games like this, I just cannot concentrate on reading a rule book to save my life. So it's really nice when I get to do that. But these are the player aids. I have never seen a player aid bigger than this one right here. So each player gets their own kind of small rule book, which actually really helps quite a bit. So this has all of the different tiles that you can choose, because throughout the game you will be building up your own kind of tableau of tiles. Some of them are going to get you endgame scoring, some of them are going to get you ongoing abilities, and some of them are going to get you spots that you can place different things out. And then I believe some of them also get you spaces that you can use your link tokens for, which I'll get into. But this kind of explains all of the different tiles. It also has like a tips section, which I really appreciate. So if you're a little bit confused, like how do I get, you know, influence, or how do I get or gain specialists, different things like that, it actually has this layout here, which I really appreciate. The only thing I will say, there's also like the icons and stuff on the back. The only thing I will say, I wish they just included in these player aids as well, the stuff that are on these boards here, which they only include 2 of these boards in the game, which I understand as you get into playing this game more and more, you will fully understand all of the different worker placement spots, which I haven't really mentioned yet, but this game is a very much so worker placement game with a lot of chaining of different actions. You are trying to invent different things. You are proposing your inventions. You are then going to be actually inventing them and building them, and then I believe like publishing them. I don't know what the actual word is for them. You're innovating. You're sharing an invention. You're inventing it, and then you are innovating it, which multiple people can do those things with one invention. So yes, all of the different actions are on here. And yes, as you play this game more and more, you're going to fully know exactly what to do with each of these worker placement spots. But the first few games, you definitely go to this. Like when we were playing, we went to these boards pretty much every single turn to make sure that we were doing everything that we needed to do for these worker placement spots. So you'd place your worker out or your pillars out, which I believe they're somewhere in here, but you'd place a pillar out and then you would do that action. And actually on the player board, I'll show you guys that as well, there is like a full-on breakdown of everything that you do in sequence with icons, but this here actually writes out like what you're doing, each like sequence for each of the worker placement spots. But I wish they did include these within the player aid, because these have to be like shared by 2 people, which was fine. Tyler and I were beside each other and we kind of just shared the different things. So yeah, anyways, that's that. That's one like slight negative, but it's not a huge deal. We also have the solo rules here, which is really nice. Obviously, like I mentioned, I will possibly be diving into the solo of this game. We have all of the punch outs. So like I mentioned, there's going to be different tiles that you're going to be adding. There's different tiles for the board. We also have these tiles here, which, where did these tiles go? These might actually be, I don't remember where those tiles were on the board. Am I going crazy? Maybe those are for like making more variation of things. Ooh, we have a upgrade pack. I didn't realize I got an upgrade pack with this. That's fun. So yeah, we got some tiles for the board and stuff, which I will more so explain after. We also have this, which I believe this is going to explain how I put everything back into the insert, which I love when publishers do that. I just recently got Age of Rome as well, and that one had a really good like overview of how you put everything in the box. This one also has, I love when publishers do this, when they like put the little things so you can like take things out really nicely. Mythwind had that, which I don't know if you guys saw recently, but really exciting news. This is very random to be putting into this video, but I'm just in a chatty mood. I am actually doing a little bit of a co-design project with my friend Daryl Andrews. If you guys do not know, Daryl is the designer mainly of Sagrada. He's most known for Sagrada, but he's also designed a bunch of other games. But yeah, I am working with Daryl to co-design a new character for Mythwind. So that's really exciting. This is going to be my first endeavor into game design. It's always been something that I have been like interested in. My friend Aiden and I have recently been like chatting about getting together and like designing more because we both are really interested in that sort of thing. So yeah, very exciting. That was announced, I believe, on like April 1st or April 2nd, which they announced it, I think, on April 1st, and it was probably a bad timing because maybe some people thought it was a joke, but it's not a joke, guys. I am co-designing a character for Mythwind. So fun. But anyways, Mythwind, like I said, also had this kind of thing where you can easily take things out of the box, which is really helpful for games like this that have a lot of different things that you have to get out of the box. But we got some big punch boards of all of the hexagon tiles, and then you also have these different kind of things that you will need in order to invent something. So these are going to be very basic things that you will need to have like knowledge of. I think these are actually knowledge tiles, but you will need to have your piece on these knowledge tiles as like a prerequisite to kind of share these different inventions. So for example, you might have to have a worker or one of your people, your specialists on iron, as a prerequisite in order to share an invention of some sort. So yes, very much like a lot of Vitel's games, from what I've heard of. They're very like procedural in a way where you have to kind of follow these different steps in order to do well in the game. So we also have some little things there. I'm not sure if I will need to keep those for the game. Probably, we will see. I actually don't think so. I think that's more so for stability. But we have the huge board right here, which I kind of want to unveil it? No, I want to like unfold it so you guys can see the art, because I am in love with the art on this game. Some people have said that it's very bland and very beige, but it has a lot of amazing detail in it. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see. Also, I want to mention that I'm not doing an overhead camera from this unboxing. I don't have it set up and I was just a little bit too lazy to do it, but you guys can probably see some of the detail on this. I will cover up my face so you can see it more. But there's actually like some gorgeous like floral details, which I love. And I actually really enjoy the color scheme of this game as well. It does have a lot of beige, but then it also just has some like sparks of like different colors and stuff. I guess Vitel, or I guess the artist is Tool. I guess he really likes blue. So like there is some blue here on like the map section, but there's just like some sparks of like very beautiful bright colors. Like there's the orange and the yellow, like the different player colors, I guess. Do I want to try to do this? I also really like on the back of it, it has the whole layout of the board, but it's just beige, which I thought was really pretty. But yes, it's a very large and in charge board that you guys can see here. This is the full board here, but it is beautiful. And I've actually heard a few times that some people have said that this looks very simple for a Lacerda game, which, like I said, I've only played Kanban, and that one's pretty busy with everything that's going on the board, but I don't think it's actually too busy. But this one I just think is beautiful. Like I said, it has those like very nice like sparks of colors with the like florals around everywhere. You have the 4 different player colors over here: purple, blue, yellow, and orange, which I really like that choice there of colors. You have like the round up here. You have the different, primarily this is where you're going to be playing. So these are the main 10 different worker placement spots that you're going to be going to. You're going to be placing one of your pillars on there. And the interesting thing about this is that you can actually block yourself from different actions. So that's really the worker placement. You can't block any other players, so you can always go where another player is, which typically in a worker placement game, that is one of the things, is like if a player goes to a spot, you can't go there. But it's actually if you go to a spot, you can't go to either of the actions on either side. So if I decided to go to this one up here, which is the presenting an idea, I could not then go to this spot beside it in like the same like book, I guess, on the left or the right. So very interesting. I would then have to go for any of the other 8 that are below it. And so on and so forth. If I place here, I can't place here. If I place here, I can't place here. So yeah, you have your like main pillar, and then you have your other, I think there's 2 other pillars or 3 other pillars. I think it's actually 2 other pillars. But yeah, and then you have this huge map over here with all the different ideas and inventions around it that are connected to the different sections of the map. It's very beautiful. Again, I really love what they did with the board. It is beautiful. Not boring at all to me, personally. So that's the board. Wow. And we also have this over top that just protects everything. And we have everything in here, which honestly, it's all like really nicely organized. We have this here that's just going to be a board where you're going to have all of the inventions that you can draft. You have this here that's going to have all of the knowledge tiles on it. Each of the like ages are going to have different knowledge tiles, and then once one age is complete, all of the knowledge is kind of common knowledge. So you can actually wait until that age is over in order to then know all of the common knowledge from that age, if that makes sense. So age 1, everyone would then know everything from age 1 when you went into age 2, or I guess it's A, B, C, D, E, so on and so forth. All right, we also have this. Holy, these are beautiful. I forgot how beautiful these were. I will say when I was at the ranch, I was probably so tired, and I don't know if I remember a lot of it. So I'm really happy that I did vlog because I was so tired. But I do remember playing this game, obviously. But these are the player boards. They are beautiful. They are double layered. You have spots for all of your different workers. It kind of reminds me a little bit of, there was a specific game, oh yeah, Darwin's Journey. So I think JT also made the connection to this, where it kind of feels like Darwin's Journey with the workers and how you are actually kind of customizing the workers and what the workers can then do. So you can place your workers into here, which is the academy. They are kind of like students, and then eventually you're going to be using them. The ones in here are actually wild, and then once you've used them for a specific action, they have to come back to whatever action was associated with one of these 3. So you then have these like 3 specific workers that can only be used for specific actions that are connected to these 3 things. So I think it's like economy, culture, and technology, I believe, are the 3. So yeah, then you also have this spot here for all the different tiles. Like I mentioned, you're going to be building up a tableau of different tiles. Then you have down here all of the tiles that you are kind of banking to then be able to purchase and place into your tableau, which I will add. The very cool thing about this game, I'm going to take all these out and kind of chat as I do this, but the very cool thing about this game, and the interesting thing that I thought more board games really need to do this, is the fact that as you're playing your turn, you can gain these tiles, which I believe they are in this punch out here. So you gain these tiles here, which are kind of just a placeholder that you're going to be placing onto your board it kind of is a placeholder for whether it is a brown, blue, or beige tile that you are getting. Whatever color it is going to represent is the color that you're going to put at the top when you place it onto your board. So for example, if it was a technology tile that I was gaining that turn, I would place one of these placeholders into my board. Ooh, oh my God, I'm dropping things. I would place it into my board here with the technology side at the top to remind me that that's the tile that I will then need to get. And it's kind of like something you are going to do at the end of your turn when it is going on to the next player. So your turn will be over and it'll be going to the next player, but you're still gonna have some things to do, which I think is so cool. And the things that you're going to be doing is you're going to be picking the tile that you want, because if you are, for example, getting a technology tile, which is the brown ones, you will then be able to, once it's moved on to the next player, grab the brown tiles, look at all the tiles, look at your player aid to decide what one of the brown tiles you want, and then you can actually take your time choosing the tile, placing it onto your board. You are then allowed to purchase whatever tiles you want and then place them into your tableau. So you're actually doing things when it's already moved on to the next player, which I think is just genius, and more board games need to do this because it doesn't make the game drag on. So if that was something that I still needed to do on my turn before the next player, which none of what I'm doing there affects the players. So actually having, I will say, like, this is something that we do in my like board game group pretty often, where I'm like, hey, I'm like pretty much finished my turn, I'm just doing this, it's not going to affect you, so you can start. But having that kind of implemented in the rules as something that you do in this game, I think is genius, and more board games need to do that. Because it really helps, because a lot of the time with these really long board games, they can drag on for a long time. And I just, yeah, it was genius. And I was just like flabbergasted by that. But this is actually a board that I did not see, but I'm pretty sure, or I'm almost positive, that this is the solo board. So that is what that looks like. I did not see that when we were playing. We also have these 4 little things here, which is for all of the different player colors. So you have the yellow, orange, blue, and purple. And I'm assuming there's more underneath here. So you have this little thing here. And yeah, we have all of the 3 different tile holders. So like I said, when your turn is over and you are able to select your tiles that you want for your turn, you can just say, hey, can you pass the white tiles to me? So then someone will just pass you this little thing of tiles, and then you can decide on which tile you want. There's 3 different there that you're like choosing between. I can't get over it. It's so genius. And then we also have all of the different tokens here that I will need to eventually, I think my dogs are outside, or children have come home from school. What time is it? 3:05. Yeah, if you guys hear children in the back, it's because they just got home from school. But yes, I believe that is pretty much everything for the unboxing. There's a bunch of different like cards and stuff that I could probably show you. We have some promo idea cards, which is pretty cool. We also have some different like goal cards here. This, I think, is, oh, what is this? Oh, I think this is the round marker, which I did not realize that it's like a metal round marker. That's very cool. It's like very hefty. There's actually a spot here for it. Put him there. Oh, cute. I love that. But yeah, I don't really know if I want to like, do you guys want to see more? I don't know. I guess we'll just open a few things. I will say that my first impression of Inventions is very good. I believe these are not the only goal cards. Everyone's going to gain, I believe, 2 goal cards at the beginning of the game, and you'll work towards the goal cards, which I will say when we played it, I did not get any of my goal cards. Actually, we might have, you get 3 and you can score at most 2 of them. I think I might have scored like a little bit on 1 of them. Anyways, my first impression of Inventions Evolution of Ideas is honestly very good. This is a big game. That's my only thing about this is, yes, it is a very big game and it is a big time commitment. I feel like this, when we played a 4-player game with a teach. The teach probably took about 45 minutes, I would say. And then it took us about, I would say, 3.5 hours possibly to play it, which granted, this was our first play of it. Everyone was new to the game, so we were all just learning as we went. Like I said, Jason from Eagle-Gryphon Games did a fantastic job with teaching us. But yes, it did take quite a long time, but the entire time that we were playing this game, over and over again, we were just getting mind blown by the just like depth of strategy in this game and the different things that we were just like picking up on as we played. Danny Standring was just getting mind blown by the different things. Like even like throughout the game, like more than halfway through the game, she's like, oh my God, I just had like a epiphany like of something that I can do on my turn. This is amazing. She was like mind blown the whole time. And so was I. I was definitely very overwhelmed. Like I said, the only other Lacerda game that I've played thus far is Kanban EV, which I think Kanban is probably one of Vitel's easier titles. I have not played any of his heavier ones like On Mars or Weather Machine. Those are definitely, I would say, heavier than Kanban, and I think this one is kind of in the realm of those. I do think Tyler was playing this. I don't know if it was him that mentioned it, but I do think that this is slightly easier than On Mars. On Mars, I think, is currently Vitel's heaviest one, if I'm not mistaken. You can let me know in the comments if you're a big Vitel Lacerda fan. But yeah, it was a lot, but it was very fun. I'm a huge fan of worker placement games, and this one is very worker placement. I will say, like, overall, the rules are pretty simple. On your turn, you are simply just placing out one of your pillars, which I will show you guys the pillars. So you have these different like Roman pillars here. You have two of your smaller pillars, and then you have your bigger pillar, which I don't know if they are in here anywhere. Yes. So each player has their own bigger pillar, and this is going to be the pillar that you're going to first place. And if any other player goes to the spot that your big pillar is in, you gain influence. And influence is going to help you do different things throughout the game, which is really helpful. So there's this interesting thought process of where should I place my big pillar so that I am actually like influencing the other players to do the same things. So on your turn, you're like, what do I think other players are going to need to do? And I should place my pillar there because a lot of them are going to come to my spot and they are going to give me influence. So that is very cool. Again, you are actually not allowed to place your pillar on a spot that you already have one. So you're really banking on other players coming to where you are in order to gain your influence. I believe there's like some other ways that you can gain influence as like a bonus with things, but that's a really interesting part of the game that I enjoyed. Unfortunately, I was not very influential myself until later in the game. So yeah, I would definitely need to get better at that and be more influential and think about that. But I kind of caught on to that a little bit later in the game and ended up getting quite a bit of influence by the end of the game. So yeah, I really like that part of it. Like I was saying, overall, very simple. You are just placing one of your pillars onto one of the 10 worker placement spots, and that's all you're going to be doing. The thing that is pretty difficult about this game is the chaining of things. So if you did place one of your pillars on a certain action, and then later you actually really want to take that action or the action that's beside it that is in the book, because like I mentioned, if you place a pillar on one side, you can't perform the other one. So like I said, later in the game, if you really wanted to perform one of those two actions that you already placed a pillar on, you would have to try to figure out a way in order to chain into that specific action, because speaking of chains, you're going to have these different chain tokens or link tokens, and some of the different worker placement spots are going to allow you to spend your link tokens, which the number of link tokens that you have at the beginning of a turn is determined by where you are on the influence track. So you're really wanting to get a lot of influence to get those different chain tokens, and then that's going to allow you to perform more chain actions on a turn. And that's really going to be where the like depth of strategy is. Where am I going to place that pillar to allow me to then chain eventually into an action that I actually want to perform that would really help me? So that's a really cool part of it. I really liked the chain things. One thing I did notice is it was really easy to forget that you had the chain link things earlier on in the game. Again, this is probably because this was my first play of it, but there were multiple turns where I ended my turn, it went on to the next person, and I'm like, oh shoot, I could have used my link token to then connect to something else, but I like completely forgot that I had them. But as we went on throughout the game, it got a lot easier for me to remember the link tokens, and later in the game, they do come in really handy when it comes to you know, chaining those different actions. So it's a lot easier to remember them towards the end of the game or later in the game because they come in handy quite a bit when it comes to, you know, performing the actions that you actually want to do. So yes, that was another part that I really enjoyed. We also have the whole like map part of the game, which kind of brings in a little bit of area control. I am not sure if there's any Vitel Lacerda titles that have area control, or like not so much area control, but area influence, I guess. You're basically, when you publish an invention, you actually want to have the majority of people at the connected country or at the connected continent to that invention. So that actually you have to have area majority there in order to do that action. So that was a really cool part. I have like recently discovered that I really like area majority, or area, I think it is area majority, it's not area control. I really like that. And then once you have performed that, your people get taken off of there. So yes, that I really enjoyed. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Overall, I really enjoyed Inventions and Evolution of Ideas. I think I'm just gonna call it Inventions, it's a lot easier. But I really enjoyed the game. I'm excited to play it again. A lot of my local friends here really want to play this, so I am going to definitely teach it to all of them and play it more, and I will most likely do a solo stream of this eventually once I get more familiar with the game. It's definitely a game that you need to play multiple times in order to really get or grasp the strategy of the game and all of those things. So yeah, should I just end the video with a completely disastrous table? Probably not. Let's quickly clean this up. I will most likely go through and like punch everything after this video, but I do have a friend coming over in a few hours, so we will see. But yeah, overall, really good first impression of Inventions, Evolution of Ideas. I really enjoyed it, and you guys will definitely see more of it on the channel, and hopefully you guys will see more Lacerda titles on the channel as well, because more and more as I get into the hobby, the more I just get into these really crunchy, heavy Euros. I really have been enjoying them. They do take a long time, and that's my only negative about them, is they do, like if I decide to have a board game day and we decide to play a Lacerda title, that's probably going to take up probably half of the game day if we do decide to have a full game day, which most of the time that is the case. So yeah, it's really like are we going to be doing a Lacerda today, because that's going to take up most of our day and we're not really going to have time for a lot of other games. So anyways, I'm going to finish off the video here. I'm going to quickly, like I said, put all these things back in the box so I'm not finishing off this video with an insane table. So let me quickly do this and then we'll finish off the video. All right, friends, so I got everything back into the box. There is some massive lid lift, so I'm definitely going to take some time either after I film this video or a little bit later to reorganize all this, punch all the things out and organize it, which is like one of my favorite things to do, so I'm very excited about that. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was very casual, very chatty, so hopefully that's something that you guys enjoy. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. Also hit that subscribe button down below if you've yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the garden. And yeah, really excited to eventually get this to the table again. Try it out more and more. Eventually try it out solo, like I mentioned. Here on the channel, I'll most likely do a solo playthrough of this, but yeah, again, huge thank you to Eagle-Gryphon Games for sending this over for review. It's definitely one of the more exciting games that I've received because I do want to get a lot more into Vital's titles or Lacerda titles in the future. So yeah, anyways, I love you guys so much. Remember, you are somebody's reason to smile, and I will see you in the next board game video. Bye, friends.